Something just happened behind the scenes and it wasn't supposed to. A move involving Trump, Ripple, and XRP that slipped into the public view. And the timing lines up a little too perfectly with what's happening on the charts right now. Once you see it, you'll understand why people are whispering that the plan is already in motion. Welcome back to the show, folks. As always, if you enjoy the content around here, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It is the ultimate way and the freest way to support the channel, and I appreciate each and every single one of you that press that button every single day. It means a lot, and it's how the channel grows. We got a lot to cover. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a cold drink, and let's jump into it. Bitcoin seeing some red in the markets all of a sudden. We were off to a great start this morning. There's some nice green candles. Now we're getting some red across the board. That's okay. We're going to talk about how important Sunday is. Bitcoin's coming in at $90,629. It's currently down 0.86%. ETH, 3,035. It's currently up 0.64%. And XRP, nobody. See what I did there? Coming in at $2.17. It is down 1.21%. Total cryptocurrency market cap, though, 3.15 trillion. It's in the green, 1.75%. Now let's get into a little XRPTA. Here's the chart. Doesn't look like it's the stairways are going down, but look, let's look at the daily structure. And let's talk about Sunday. Because Sunday's not just your weekly close, but it's also your monthly close on the same day. You almost never get this kind of alignment unless some kind of macro event is converging with the technicals. This is the kind of thing that your analysts noticed after a major move, not before. Now look at the candles. You see them on the screen. A lot of red, more red than green, but it looks like Christmas, and I like Christmas. That brutal wick into the lows, a stop run. Boom. That was Binance Day. Not retail. We know that. Way too sharp. Then you got your cluster sitting right here. Let me get the little pen out. Your nice cluster forming around here around 217. That's what we call accumulation. This entire zone looks like someone pressed the chart down and is now letting it finally breathe again. This is the type of compression that creates violent upside moves when it resolves. Remember, it's like a slingshot being pulled back. And with a dual Sunday close, your weekly and monthly, the timing is suspiciously clean. It's almost like someone wanted to reset before the announcement hit. And folks, if you don't got your one-on-one strategy called Book with me, hey, link is down below every single video. They are booked out. You're going to need to plan this in advance. And with holidays, it gets super tight. We'll talk anything and everything. You want to know about tax structure and how to get your LLC? If you want a Wyoming LLC, Florida, if you just want to where you are, we'll talk about what's best for you, what to do with it. Remember, your best investment is an investment in yourself. Now we get over to xrprightnow.com. It should be bookmarked already on your phone. Because here's where the story gets freaking weird. We got every technical signal out there is pointing at one number, and that one number is $2.80. On a 4-hour chart, you got a bull pennant that hasn't fully broken out yet, but it's right on the edge. You break 222 and the measured move points straight to 280. Zoom out on the daily. You got XRP, which has cleaned out this V. You see it on your screen. Ooh, look at that. That's a perfect V-shaped recovery. That is pushing us right into the supply zone, sitting at 230 to 263, where the big SMAs meet. You break that, you're staring right at the neckline of right around 270. Your MACD, folks, it's about to flip bullish. RSI rebounded from oversold. On-chain, that's where it gets spooky. Your XRP supply on exchanges has dropped 45% in the last 60 days. From 3.95 billion to 2.6 billion. That's not traders, everyone. That is someone pulling liquidity off the grid. Binance reserves also at a multi-year low. Your spot take CVD, you see it right here, It's green for the last 90 days straight. Sustained aggressive buying is what that's showing you. Your ETF inflows, 9 days in a row, silver 643 million pulled in, more ETFs launching on Monday. You don't get these signals unless someone knows something and they are preparing early. And guess what? The last time we saw these exact signals, that was Bitcoin in 2024. You remember what happened to Bitcoin in 2024? It was right before the ETF pump changed everything. Everything. Now let's jump over to this. Trump, Kramer, listen.
I know you've got a ton of things to do, but what can you say to the working person who owns stocks? Should they buy more stock?
Well, I don't want to get into a situation where they do and we have a dip or something, because that can always happen. You know that better than anybody in the world, probably. I think you're the leading authority in going up and going down, but you always end up. He always ends up. That's the good news. But we have, like, Doug Burgum standing right over here, has done a fantastic job. He's been on your show many times, and we have just tremendous people. I would say this, I think long term, this is going to be a country like no other. We had the 3 best years ever until COVID came in, and then we did a good job getting rid of it. The stock market, if you look at the markets, were higher than just previous to COVID coming in when we handed it over. And
so Kramer asked Trump on live TV, should people buy stocks? He smiled. He says, I know something you don't. He says, I don't want to get in a situation where they do and we have a dip or something. That can always happen. Folks, that wasn't a hedge. That was a man who knows how markets respond to policy before the public does. And fast forward to today, Trump is making comments about digital assets with the same exact tone. Careful, calculated, and timed to the macro cycle. He's speaking like someone who already knows which assets survive the regulatory purge, because there's going to be a regulatory purge, trust me, and which becomes part of the new financial rails. He knows what's going on, which brings us to the moment that everything shifted. We move over to this post on my older channel. We have full videos getting into very, very deep details on this. So Politico reported that Trump's Truth Social post, the one that was promoting your crypto strategic reserve, I'll scroll down so you can see it, and naming XRP by name, wasn't meant to go out the way it did. According to insiders, a lobbyist at Ballard Partners suggested a draft pro-crypto message, and that draft got posted almost word for word. Folks, that's not a draft, right? Trump reportedly didn't know that Ripple was a Ballard client until after the post went live. And guess what? Trump was pissed. He told staff he is not welcomed in anything anymore. Talking about Ballard here. The White House was instructed to freeze Ballards out of meetings. Their access got revoked. The doors got closed. But that's not the interesting part here. I mean, it's pretty interesting, but that's not it. The interesting part is, why did the lobbyists want Trump to name XRP directly? Why did the message go through at the exact moment that XRP supply was vanishing from exchanges? And why did someone want that message buried the second it went live? Here's the twist. What if Trump wasn't tricked, but he was nudged? What if someone wanted him to endorse XRP publicly, not for retail, but for the institutional investors watching quietly from the sidelines, waiting for a political signal? And the timing? Right as XRP ETFs began pulling hundreds of millions in inflows. Right as the charts began coiling. Right as the exchange's supply collapsed. This doesn't look random. It looks coordinated. But here's the interesting part about all this. This is the part that no one is talking about. Ripple's new institutional pathway. The settlement from the Rippleverse SEC lawsuit changed everything, folks. Ripple cannot sell XRP directly to institutions anymore, like they were doing before. They need to now follow strict exemptions or registration requirements. Think about that. Interesting, right? No more backroom deals. Everything must be run. So when people are out there saying Ripple selling all this to the ETFs, that the supply is going to keep going up, we'll never have a supply shock, we would know about it. Ripple needs to file here. It needs to be filed. It states down here. Direct from Ripple, you need possible exemptions via Rule 144A for QIBs, but less common for ETFs due to regulatory scrutiny. You see how this is all about to play out? We've showed you the chart, we showed you the graph, we showed you the inflows. At some point next year, there is going to be a massive, massive supply shock. It's going to happen. If this is what it all looks like, if the chart, the supply shock, the ETF inflows, and the political timing are all converging on the same point, then Trump's accidental XRP endorsement, it wasn't a mistake. It was the first signal of a bigger plan unfolding behind the scenes. The kind of plan you only recognized after the surge has begun. Folks, stay locked in. Get a one-on-one call booked. This story's just getting started, and the next chapter drops sooner than anyone expects. Subscribe and follow. Hit that like button because the next episode, hey, that might be the one that they don't want us talking about.